So the big question is this: how do most agents who struggle to get the information that most successful agents hoard to themselves grow and prosper without this information? That's the big question, and this video cast is the answer. Welcome to Real Estate Rockstars. I'm your host, Pat Hyben. All right, Rockstars, listen, I had a little issue last week. Apple iTunes removed this podcast for 3 days. It was an absolute disaster. I had sleepless nights. I mean, it was crazy because I had put some extra words after Real Estate Rockstars. I put the word selling, sales, trying to think that they would help with search engine optimization. I was actually given advice to do that. And they took it down without notice because they said they frown on that, or they don't allow that. So now it's just Real Estate Rockstars with Pat Hyben, which was fine and it's fixed. But what happened was the only people that were able to listen to Wednesdays and Fridays episodes either did it on Stitcher Radio, right, on their non-iPhone, on their smartphone, right, on their Android, whatever, or on a computer, or were subscribed. So if you were a subscriber on iTunes, you were able to get the Friday and Wednesdays episodes, but if you weren't a subscriber, you couldn't hear it. Now, I don't plan on that happening again, but my point is that the subscribers benefited, and so if you have not hit the subscribe button, please subscribe to this podcast just in case any shenanigans happen like that again. You're guaranteed to get every single episode. Thanks, guys. Okay, got some recent graduates from Rebus University, CPRC. Yes. My lender friends are telling me that houses are over appraising. What does it mean? It means prices are dropping. So get the CPRC course, Certified Price Reduction course with Mike Sloan, the king of all price reduction people, agents. 50% off if you just use PH50. Go to rebusuniversity.com. Also, the 5 Alive course with Chantel Ray. Mr. Chad Parks graduated from the 5 Alive. Great course for new agents. Incredible boot camp type course. And the 101 Free Leads course with Chad Goldwasser. Mr. Greg Merrill graduated from that. Congratulations, Greg. Chad, congrats, guys. All right, Rockstar Nation. We have a favorite returning guest. Honoree Corder is on, and she has written, 25 some books, but she's very, very familiar with the real estate agent space and real estate agents, and she's been helping them for years through what she writes and what she does, and and she just wrote a new book, and I'm going to let her say the title. But we're going to get into this and how it applies to selling more houses for you. So without further ado, welcome back, Honoree.
Delighted to be with you again. Thank you for the invitation.
My pleasure. Why don't you give everybody a little rundown in case they haven't heard your past episodes?
Sure. I think this is number 4. So
I
I don't even know if there's a word for that, right? There's 3P, and then what happens after 4? Maybe I'm just a co-host. Something like that. So my new book, and this is not safe for work in case someone needs to mute or turn down the volume if you have kiddos in the car. The title is designed to get your attention, and it is Stop Trying So Fucking Hard. Live authentically, design a life you love, and be happy finally.
Wow. Okay. So let's talk about it. Let's see, you've written a lot of books. So, for this to come into play, as like a book now, right? Like you could have written about anything at this point. So you certainly could have written about anything that you wanted to, yet you chose this topic to write about. And at this point in your career, right, you could have wrote about gardening or walking or anything, and people would have bought it because of you. So what? So why did you choose? Why did you do this? What was the impetus here?
The impetus was me watching people live inauthentically and unhappily. And this is the thing that I wanted to write about after being a business coach for 20 years and working with lots of different types of professionals, including real estate agents. I found that a lot of people were twisting themselves into a pretzel, making decisions based on what they thought that their peers or clients or customers or family members or church members expected of them, and not the authentic things that would bring them joy and make them happy.
Okay, so how do you know if someone else is inauthentic?
How do I know? I can feel it. I can
feel
feel if someone, oh yeah, I can feel it. I can see it on their face. I can see it in their body language. I can tell by how they carry themselves, how they talk to me, how they talk to others. Can't you tell when someone is?
Yeah, but I was asking the question, and so the question is really like how, like you could tell they're inauthentic, but you're saying that it's not like something they choose to do. It's a position they put themselves in.
So it's the same thing. They're choosing to do it. They're putting themselves in the position, but it is because of the way we've been socialized from the time we meet other people our age, generally early. So in preschool or kindergarten or even daycare when we're very young, there is a way we're supposed to behave. It's peer pressure. And ultimately there's peer pressure, there's parental pressure, there is religious pressure, there is school pressure. And I found just in my, almost 50 years on this planet that a lot of people have made decisions based on what they thought they should be doing rather than what they really wanted to do. And by the time they had a wake-up call, cancer, or the death of a loved one, or a near-death experience, or something of that, or they lose their job out of the blue, or their spouse up and leaves them after 25 years of marriage, when they have finally that wake-up call, they finally have the realization that, wait a minute, I'm only here one time. Why am I so miserable? I've done everything I was supposed to do, and is this all there is? You've got to be kidding me.
Do you think that when people get richer or when people get older, they become more authentic, or is it something that sticks with you unless you consciously start thinking about it differently?
I think that when people get really old, so 80s, I have some 80-year-old friends at the gym, and they're like, I don't effing care anymore, Honoree. Like, I just tell it like it is. I'm just doing whatever I want to do because I'm almost done. And I think if people would get there sooner, they would be much happier. You bring up a good, an interesting point, which is about money. And I believe that money and alcohol make you more of who you are. So if you're a jerk, money is going to make you more of a jerk. And you know this from some of your work within, I think you're in GoBundance, right? So when you have money and you're a great person, then money allows you to be a great person in an abundant way, in a generous way. When you're broke, you can't give to yourself, let alone someone else. If you're a jerk and you get money, then you're just going to be a bigger jerk.
It just amplifies it, right? So all money does.
It does. Correct.
Money, no, really, it just kind of money amplifies who you already are. Age, yes, but not until you're so old that you just don't care about it.
Until you're so old, frankly.
You've reached a point where, right, and I agree with that. I think people do become more authentic and more liberated, more lose inhibitions. Certainly with alcohol, but it's certainly with age too. You know what I mean? Like, because they can get away with it because, it's just.
That's right. It's just grandpa. He's just cranky.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He's just tired. He's out of rope.
So how do you know, right? How do you know, like the statement of the title of the book is Stop Trying So Fucking Hard, right? So how do you know that you're trying too hard?
Well, you are doing any number of things that are to cope or numb yourself from your daily life. You could have an addiction to drugs, alcohol, food, Netflix. You're trying to tune out or numb yourself from your life. It's, oh, thank God it's Friday, because now I don't have to do the day job for a couple of days. Or and this is an ongoing problem in our country. We just did a book with Joe Polish about addiction and recovery, about people that are waking up and saying, how early is too early for me to have that drink? How early is too early for me to get high or smoke something? If you're numbing yourself, if you're anesthetizing yourself with some sort of action, then probably you're trying too fucking hard. If you're taking a vacation so that you can get away from your life, you might need a different life. You might be trying too hard.
That's an
those are just for starters.
That's an interesting, because I know a lot of people that do that. They they'll work their butt off, and then they take a vacation. They just go full out, like balls out, like just wild, right? You need a vacation from getting back from the vacation, and that's and I get it, but it's interesting to watch. It's definitely interesting to watch.
It is, and it also, if you are willing to, it lets you, and not you, but the royal you, all of us, so to really look. Am I waking up today not knowing or caring what day it is because I'm really freaking happy about what I'm doing today? Or am I only glad when it's X day or X time of year and I get a break from the insanity?
So in the book you mentioned 2 aha moments that you had regarding this. So tell me about those.
Yeah, so the first one was, and I had this Patty Perfect thing going on where the person that I presented to the world was perfectly fine all the time. And I don't actually remember what the inciting incident was, but I was just having a rough day. And I sat down to have coffee with someone, and the person asked me how I was. And I said, you know what, I'm actually just not doing okay. Just having a really rough day. And her response to me was, oh, thank God you're a real person. like up until now, I couldn't relate to you because I thought everything about your life was perfect and that you would be finding fault in me. You would be judging me because your life was so perfect, and why didn't I have all of my act together? And I think everyone, there are certain things. I went to see Tim Grohl speak recently. He wrote a book called Running Down a Dream. And he was saying that at one point in his life that he was living a life that you just wouldn't put on Facebook. Right? I'm 7 days away from losing my house. My wife had to pick up my kid out of the grocery cart and walk out of the grocery store. That is not a Facebook status that we share. We're saying, I'm in Belize on vacation. I'm on the Eiffel Tower. We're not
manic
sharing. Yeah, we're not sharing
Facebook's
the
manic. Yeah. Well, you don't want to bring people down, and there's a reason for that. And
yes,
and people. I think they work that angle too. Sometimes I don't know when people put prayers needed, they don't say what it is. And then everyone's like praying. And I'm like, well, his guinea pig is sick, right? Or whatever. I mean, on that level, I think
mosquito bite.
Yeah. You should say, you should be specific, because prayers are specific. And if I can help you in a way, if you're specific, I'm going to be able to figure it out how I can help you. But anyway, so let's get back to the aha moment. So you're sitting there in the coffee shop, and the lady says, and that in itself was the aha moment, just her saying, thank God, right? You're a real person.
You're a real person. You have rough days too. We all have rough days now and again, some more than others. We all have rough patches in our lives. And that's just a fact. Not that everyone in the world needs to know about it, but what people are putting as their front-facing brand, right? This is my brand. Everything is hunky-dory, is not necessarily all of the rough stuff. Everyone has to realize that everyone has rough stuff, and that was my first aha moment. Was that being authentic with someone in a moment, not going, "Oh no, everything is great, everything is fine. How are you?" was not going to be as effective, nor create any type of a connection with the person that I was sitting in front of. That was an aha moment for me. The second one was when I went on my first date with my husband, and at the end of the date, he went to kiss me, and I was like, oh, I don't know, because I'd had this conversation with myself before the date, which was, even if you really like him, distance. Keep your distance because you've screwed it up before. You don't want to screw it up again. And so 2 or 3 months goes by and he's like, yeah, so what was up with that? Like, that was nonsense. And I said, well, I may or may not have kissed someone on a first date before, and I was single. So there, right. Newsflash, it hadn't worked out. And he just looked at me and he said, you know what, Honoree, you can't do the right thing with the wrong person, and you can't do the wrong thing with the right person. The right person is going to like you.
Slow that down. You can't do the wrong thing. You can't do the wrong thing with the right person.
Yeah.
Okay. And you can't do the right thing. Well, you say it.
The wrong person. You were there. You were almost there. Yes. So you can't do the right thing with the wrong person. Meaning, if someone is not going to like you, they're not going to like you. There's pretty much nothing you can do about it. If someone is predisposed to like you, they're going to like you. And there's pretty much nothing you can do to screw up.
Yeah.
They're going to give you a pass. How many times has someone said, well, that person was kind of rude to me, and you're like, oh, but they were having a bad day. Their dog died. They stubbed their toe. They got a mosquito bite. They are a super nice person. Someone else says, well, I ran into this guy and he seemed super nice. And you're like, that guy's a jerk. Mm-hmm. Here, let me tell you this story. There's no way to fix it. And so once you realize that, if you just are your authentic self, the right people are going to be attracted to you, because when you're faking it, you might attract people. They're just not going to be the right and best perfect people for you.
Right. Yeah. Right. They're going to be attracted to superficialness.
Correct. They're going to be attracted to who you're pretending to be.
Yeah.
Because you're trying to impress them. But if you just say, look, this is who I am, right? I cuss and I love Jesus. Right? Like right. It is what it is.
I am who I am, right?
I am what I am. And if I don't resonate with you, it's okay. I won't take it personally. There are how many billions of people on the planet. I'm sure there's someone you'll resonate with. I'm sure there's someone I'll resonate with. And so I bless you and release you to go on your merry way. I'm just going to go over here.
Yeah. I had a relative that, was posting a lot of cleavage shots on social media, and that's not her, right? Like, she's not at all, whatever you want to call it, promiscuous or
a cleavage shower.
She's just not, right? And I'd seen, and I've known her whole life. And so it was really awkward because she was clearly having an identity crisis, in that she was having, it just wasn't her. You know what I mean? She was portraying. Yes. And my point to her was, you're attracting guys that are, looking for girls with cleavage shots 24, or going to have cleavage 24/7. And, is that who you want to attract? And if it is, then okay. But I don't think that's who you want to attract. You want to attract somebody who's more really like you, who's more conservative, right? Yeah. And whether or not she took that advice is irrelevant, because the point was made, and I made my point on the podcast that it's interesting how people put it out there. You get what you put out there, and you got to be careful, because you might get what you don't really, really want, or what doesn't feel good, doesn't fit your soul, right?
Yes, correct. And ultimately, we do only get one time here, as far as we know, for sure. And we might as well be happy. And if showing cleavage makes you happy, then rock on.
Yeah.
And you may get the person that likes that, and that's perfectly wonderful.
You may want the person.
Yeah, you may want the person.
I know her.
Yeah, you might have worked hard for that cleavage, or paid a lot of money for it. I mean, God gave it to you, and you want everyone to know this is the thing. And there's nothing wrong. There's legitimately no judgment. I want everyone to make the decision that makes them happy, which is why I wrote the book. And I put the F word in the title, because sometimes you have to punch people in the face, proverbially, to get their attention.
Brokers and team leaders, are you tired of seeing dwindling numbers at your monthly sales meetings? And I don't mean numbers as far as sales. I mean Numbers as far as agents attending. Do you struggle with creating new and exciting content that will not only motivate your agents, but deliver actual results to them? Do you want your agents using proven sales techniques that increase their commissions? We've got the answer for you. Rebus University is launching a Lunch and Learn series you can purchase to provide structure and content to your meetings. The series has 12 30-minute trainings taught by me and top producers from around the world, and specifically is designed to increase production for your agents. Plus, when you purchase these trainings, you will also receive significant discounts for the go-getters on your team or in your office who want more training and bigger results. So don't delay. Go to hibandigital.com/teams. That's hibandigital.com/teams, or call Catherine Brower today at 843-749-9900. That's 843-749-9900, and get started with your Rebus University Lunch and Learn.
Like, come on, you're in a trance, you're in a coma, and you're going to wake up when you're 79 or 80 if you get that far, because nobody's guaranteed that long, and wonder, why did I not say no when I meant no and say yes when I really wanted to?
So how do you get it? Like, so you're in a trance. Let's just say everyone listening to this is in a trance in some way, shape, or form. We all. Very few people do not sell their soul, at least a little bit, right? I think that the ones that I admire the most, are the artists, especially like rock stars and rappers and people that have reached a level where they have so much money and so much fandom that doesn't care what they wear, or what they do, or what they say. It's still interesting to people, right? And I think they're massively liberated. Now, yes. So they might be only 3% out of 100% selling their soul, but most of us sell our soul on some level. I'm selling my soul because the shirt I'm wearing right now has a collar on it, and I had a T-shirt on earlier, right? But I didn't wear it here. So so right there's soul selling. So in a sense, we all do it one way or the other. If you wake up to an alarm clock, you're selling your soul in a sense, because you didn't wake up naturally. But my point is, how do you go from a life of a lot of this inauthentic living to a life of more authentic living?
Well, it's funny that you should mention having a T-shirt, because my first tip in the book is to put on your Zero Fucks T-shirt. Meaning you just don't, you just stop caring. Put on your T-shirt, Pat. Go back and put on the T-shirt. If that's what you really want to wear, no one's going to listen or not listen to your podcast or to you if you're wearing a T-shirt, in my opinion. Now, there is something in professional dressing, and you have to show up in a way that causes people to pay attention. But that's a monkey suit, right? That's a costume that we put on so that we're not discounted by people. I know for myself, when I don't want people to see me at all, when I go out in public, I wear workout clothes. No one pays me any attention when I'm in my workout clothes. But if I'm in my professional speaker / best-selling author clothes, then people notice, and it could be my energy associated with it. But nevertheless, back to the T-shirt. Put on the T-shirt under. I always say I always have it on, because I'm going to be authentic whether the other person on the other side of the conversation is comfortable or not. And part of that is just me wanting you to know that what you see is what you get. I am never going to say, Pat, I absolutely love you and I think you're wonderful and amazing, and then I'm going to turn around and hang up and go, that guy again. Right? A lot of people do, and you just never really know what they actually think or what they're actually saying. I prefer for people to be authentic with me, no matter what the message is, just so I don't have to guess. So that's the first of the two things.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay. So what's the second one?
And the second one is to make choices that make you happy so that you are ridiculously attractive to yourself.
You're ridiculously attracted to yourself. Okay, so
No, not attracted to, attractive to. I am attractive to myself when this is funny, right? My alarm goes off at 4:05, but I do that on purpose. I like early morning when the other 5 creatures in my house are not awake. I can get up and practice my miracle morning. I can read, I can drink coffee, I can go to the gym, I can do some writing. That's my time for me. That makes me ridiculously happy. Hashtag nerd alert, right? But at the same time, that makes me really happy. And therefore, then I'm a happy person. When I go out into the world, when people are encountering happy me instead of cranky me, which is better.
The me time is important, right?
Yes. So do things for yourself. Yes. And if you can't just say, I hate being a professional dog walker. I never should have gotten my dog walking degree. This is terrible. I hate it. I really want to sell more houses, or I only want to sell condos, or screw it, I only want to sell $2 million homes because it's the same amount of paperwork for a condo or $1 million home. Then start to do that, even if it's just a little bit. And the more attractive you become to yourself, authentically, you will then become attractive to other people. You're going to just create easily what you've been trying to force in an uneasy way.
Yeah, fascinating. No, I agree. And it's hard, especially hard for younger people, I think, who are starting out. And let's take real estate as an example. You know, when your first decade of real estate, or first couple of years at least, you need to be doing things that are considered inauthentic to some level, in order to get the sale. There's some debate on this. I had a recent interview, and she was extremely liberal politically. And she said, and we got into a debate. We didn't get into a political debate, but we got into a discussion about, do you think you get more business because of your extreme political views that you basically wear on your, wear everywhere you go? Or do you get less business? And then I got a lot of comments on Facebook about it, both ways, both sides of the political spectrum.
Right.
I think that in the long run you might get more business, but in the short run you're going to get less business being massively authentic. Like literally, like if you have a listing appointment, you're going to 2 other agents, and 2 of them show up dressed to the nines, and you show up, and let's say you're a guy and you have long hair and 3 earrings, and a neck tattoo. You know what I mean? Like you're.
Yes.
So you can't be that authentic if you're trying to make money really fast and get into that game. Right away. Unless you're selling the people. Unless that's your brand and it's been your brand from the beginning, and the person or people who referred you are like, don't let the nose ring scare you away, because that guy knows his stuff, or that gal knows her stuff. Because you can be dressed to the nines and have an IQ of 74, and that's no good. That's not gonna. You're not gonna sell it in houses. That's true. Yeah.
Even if you got dressed, it's the whole package. If you're dressed to the nines but you're ridiculously uncomfortable dressed to the nines, people pick up on that. And here's the thing: they don't know why they don't choose you. Most people can't put their finger on it. They can't put it in words. They just say, I really just need to go with that person over there. I just need to choose that person.
I want you to think about the word toolbox. What is a toolbox? A toolbox is a box full of tools that you use to build something great. At Real Estate Rockstars, we've created our own free toolbox. So everybody that comes on the show as a guest brings a tool with them, and we plow them all into this toolbox, and we give it away for our viewing audience to basically use as they wish. Everything we put in there is an actionable item that can be downloaded, can be printed, can be used immediately. And we got things like scripts and dialogues, checklists for teams, checklists to keep agents accountable, referral forms that are filled out at settlement to get referrals by your buyers and sellers. Everything you can think of that you could use on a regular basis about real estate is included in this toolbox, and it's helping agents worldwide sell more houses and make their jobs a lot easier and processes much more efficient. And the thing is, it's absolutely free. All you got to do is go to hibandigital.com/toolbox or text the word toolbox to 444-999. That's toolbox 444-999. Do it now. Yeah, that's right.
Sometimes.
And who knows what and it's just because of how they feel. Like you said, you could tell if somebody's authentic or not. So, and truth be told, the more real you are, the more bonding occurs. I also had a recent episode with a former drug addict, and she said she gets more business because when she admits that than when she tries to hide it, because immediately people bond with her. Immediately they bond with her. She is like, and they're like, well, I'm so proud of you. This is great. You're 5 years clean and sober. And, this is where you were on the street before and and, and they list with her because they connect with her, and the other guy or girl, whatever, is just ordinary. So they didn't connect. They didn't find out anything about them. So, So let's talk about overcoming fear of being, how do you want to say it? Extraordinary, overcoming the fear of being authentic.
The fear. Yeah. So overcoming fear comes down to identifying what the fear is. What are you really afraid of? If I wear my t-shirt and I do an interview, is that going to be the thing that people pick up on? Or is it going to allow me to be more relaxed and happy? Right? And then journal those fears. Write it down. Seeing it in ink, on paper, in pencil, with paint, however you get it down, brings it to light. Sometimes just being afraid and not calling the fear out makes it bigger than it really is. I'm afraid that if I do this, no one's ever going to hire me again. Well, that's ridiculous. In my years as a business coach, I worked with several people over a year's time, many years at a time. And after a while, I would know what would happen. They would close a deal. They'd go through the closing of the deal. They'd take a few days off and they'd get on the phone and they'd say, I'm just afraid I'm never going to get another deal. And I would say, I'll call you in 24 hours. And always in 24 hours, something had popped up. But naming the fear, like, okay, well, here's what you can do while you're afraid. You don't have time off because you're always working 40 hours a day. So go get a massage, take your wife down to the Carlisle and have a romantic weekend or evening, because you're going to dive right back in. And for 6 to 10 weeks, you're going to do nothing but work. Identify the thing that you're afraid of. In the real estate world, it's I'm never going to get another deal. I'm not going to get another listing. I'm not going to get another sale.
Yeah, that's
I have to make this
You're
commission.
only as good as your last deal.
Yes, I have to make this commission check last because I don't know how long it's going to be until my next one. In business coaching speak, it's you control the controllables, right? It's a numbers game. You have to play to win. You have to make X number of calls, get X number of no's to get X number of yeses. You can control what you think, say, and do. You cannot control what others think, say, or do. You can just increase the likelihood of success by doing the things that you know work. And when you are afraid, the worst thing you can do is just sit paralyzed and do nothing. Make one call. I'm just going to make one call. This is the argument I have with myself at the gym every morning. I'm just going to run 1 mile.
Love it.
All right, I ran the mile. Ran the mile. All right, well, I might as well run the next one. I might as well run the next one.
No, I've done that same thing.
Yeah. It put one foot in front of the other. And then soon you'll be so far away from your fear, and or you'll have this evidence that, oh, I was afraid. then I took action, and then this result happened. And when you memorialize that through journaling, and if that, you don't like that word, like I'm not a journaler, that sounds very woo-woo, like get a notebook and write it down in your notebook like you're in 10th grade English class. Nobody judges you for a notebook. You're right. So write it down. And the next time you close a deal and you get a commission check and your first thought is, ooh, this money better last me for 2 weeks, 4 months, whatever it is, depending on the size of the check and the size of your nut. Go back and look at the last time you wrote in your notebook. I had a deal. I closed the deal. I got a check. I was afraid I would never get another deal. And you see this pattern, and after a while, you just recognize that it's a pattern. It doesn't have any power over you. There's no fear left.
Yeah, that's so true. I know in my career personally, there's been times where I've gotten several deals from whatever it be, a certain source, FSBOs, expireds, cold calling, whatever, right. A source that maybe is an uncomfortable source. And I forgot all about them, when the fear came up. And it was only after I consciously reminded myself that, like you said, I've sold, houses this way, it works, that I was able to get to the point where I could pick up the phone and do it again. And reminding me definitely motivates you and gets you out of that comfort zone.
Well, and write that down. But where's that list of things that I need to remember when I'm afraid? When you're having a moment of sanity, write down a list and put it on your refrigerator or your bathroom mirror inside your medicine cabinet. Like, oh yeah, the last time I ran out of deals, I could call FSBOs, right? Okay, let me go do that. And then one foot in front of the other and eventually get out of it.
So talk to me about 100% responsibility, because that's something that's big in your book that people tend to like. So tell me about that.
Yeah, this seems to be, the book has been out a couple of weeks, not quite a couple of weeks yet. And this is the number one thing I'm hearing about, is this concept of taking 100% responsibility for everything in your life, everything that's happened to you, everything that you've done, everything that someone else has done to you. Just say, I chose it. My answer to my ex-husband, so obviously he's an ex-husband for a reason, and people would say, oh, that's so unfortunate. And my answer was, I chose him. I take 100% responsibility. So there it is. And when you do that, and it's not about, I take 100% responsibility and I'm a horrible person. It's, I take 100% responsibility. I've learned my lesson. I've made note of things that I would do differently, distinctions, ideas, thoughts. Now I'm going to move forward. It takes blame out of the picture. I'm no longer mad at anybody because I'm responsible. I'm not going to be mad at myself. Well, you shouldn't be mad at yourself. Don't be mad at yourself. Don't beat yourself over the head. What good does that do? Right? Okay, so I wouldn't have chosen that situation again, that job, that client, that particular part of town, at that building. Okay, what did I learn from this situation? Okay, and moving on. It takes blame out of the picture, and it takes being a victim out of the picture. Because if you chose it, then you're not a victim.
If you chose it, yeah. And it's kind of like what. And I know you and Hal Elrod do a lot of stuff together, and I heard him speak recently, and it was, his big thing now he speaks on is you can't change it, right? And
right.
It's like, it's the same thing. You can't change it, right? What good is it to think about it? I mean,
you can change your perception or you can change your procedure, but you cannot change the past.
Correct.
You can change how you perceive the situation or the person, or you can change your procedure, how you're behaving, how you're proceeding in the situation, but you cannot go back and change. If there is a way, I haven't figured out what it is. If I do, that will be visit number 5 for me. If I can figure out how to change the past, woo, I'm going to go back I'm going to go back a few decades and figure some things out. Otherwise, it's just, all right, well, here I am. What am I going to do with it? How am I going to turn lemons into lemonade? And I'm going to say one more thing about it, and that is almost everyone that I've talked to can look back at the data points of their life and see where the black day, the worst day of their life, was actually the best day of their life in the making. If you hadn't had the breakdown, then you couldn't have had the breakthrough. If I didn't have the divorce, I wouldn't have the new husband that we just celebrated 10 years. I have 10 books about single parenting and divorce, and I've bought a few things with the money from the sales of those books. So
no, I
have you can take any situation that you've been through, the loss of anything, or something breaking, something that you wish had worked out. I didn't get this job, or I was in this job and I got fired and it didn't work out, and now I'm doing this. In this case, most likely real estate. I'm selling real estate. I would have never sold real estate. I would have never met that client who now we're doing business together. Just look in your rearview mirror if you wonder if the darkest day is actually planting the seeds of something amazing that's going to happen in the future. And your job is just to put on your sunglasses, pack some snacks, and wear comfortable shoes, because you don't know where you're going to end up. If you're expecting, okay, well, this was kind of a crappy day, I don't know what good is going to come from this, but I'm looking for it. It's like the kid put in a room full of manure, and the psychologist goes back. Have you ever heard this story? There are the two kids. One's the optimist and one's the pessimist. So they put the pessimist in a room full of toys, all the toys this little kid could ever want. And then they take the other kid, the optimist, and they put him in a room full of horse manure. And they go back and they talk to the pessimist and they say, well, how are the toys? Do you like the toys? And he's like, well, the fire engine is yellow and it should be red. And this game is terrible, and I'm too old for this, and blah, 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 complain. It should be in nirvana. This should be utopia for the kid, right? They go in the room, and there's manure flying everywhere. They're like, kid, what do you do? And he says, well, with all this manure, there's got to be a horse in here somewhere, and I love horses. So it's up to you to decide what it's going to mean to you in that moment, and then to be looking for what good is coming from this situation. Why were you put here? If you believe in a higher power, then why did the universe put you here? Or why did God put you here? Why did you take this turn of the road instead of that one? And then be positively expectant.
I love it. I love that. I love that story. I love everything about that chapter there. And I can't wait for people to start reading this and watching the comments fly. So what I'm going to do, guys, I'm going to put a link to the book so that you guys could buy it on hibandigital.com/Honoree. And Honoree is with 2 E's. HONOREE and the number 4, since this is our 4th visit. Honoree 4. And Honoree, I am also going to put your free gift in your show notes at hibandigital.com/Honoree 4. What is your free gift today?
My free gift is Hal's favorite book, Vision to Reality.
Tell me about that.
Oh, yeah. So this is my book that I wrote originally as a companion guide to the business coaching I used to do for business folks, executives. And they all wanted to know, Coach, why are you telling me to do this at this time? And why am I doing this and that? And I was, do you want to spend the money that you've paid me for me to tell you that your time and money, right? Do you want to explain the methodology, or do you just want to turn your vision into your reality? So I decided to write a book that would be a companion guide for them. And I think you and I share in common that we use masterminds. And when my mastermind got a hold of it, they said, this is actually a book for the world. And I think it's 4 or 5 years old. So this is the book. And awesome. It comes.
Well, thank you, everybody. You get that free. That's awesome. You get that free by going to hibandigital.com/Honoree 4, and that's 2 E's and Honorees. Or you can get that along with other ebooks and with other free gifts that over 100 podcast guests have brought to help you in your business. All at hibandigital.com/toolbox, or texting the word toolbox to 444-999. Honoree, this has been a blast. You're welcome back anytime. Best of luck to you, and I hope that next time I'm in Austin, Texas, I'll take some time out and we can get together and break some bread.
You know what? I'm in Nashville now. So
you're in Nashville. Oh boy. Hey, yeah. I have a niece hopefully moving to Nashville to go to pilot school. So maybe I'll go visit her. Yeah.
You should. Yeah. Beautiful. Come on down. Thanks for
Sounds
having
good.
me, Pat. Always great.
Thank you so much for tuning in to Real Estate Rockstars. If this free content is giving you a ton of value, I want to ask a small favor in return. I need you to pull out your pointing finger and hit the subscribe button. Yes, hit subscribe, please. The more subscribers that we get on Real Estate Rockstars, the better guests are attracted to the shows. We'll get more guests from the top companies, from the top teams, and even more celebrity guests like Robert Kiyosaki and Barbara Corcoran. Also, if you're not a member of our free Facebook group, go to Real Estate Rockstars Radio right on Facebook and join the conversation. I'm on there myself on FaceTime Lives, and we have a lot of communications and questions about the show, and I'd love to see you there. And it's free. People ask me all the time, where am I on social media? I'm real easy to find. Just type in my name. My IG is I am Pat Hyben. It is blowing up on Instagram, adding tons of subscribers, and I'm on there probably twice a day. So definitely follow me on Instagram, as well as everywhere else. Thanks again for listening, and keep rocking.